We'll start off with the property report, which you can access right here from our home page. And you can you can enter an address, an owner's name, or parcel ID. So if you have the AIN, you could put that in. If you have an owner's name, you can click on this option and enter the name, and what will then provide you is a list of properties associated with that owner's name. You'll also be able to use this functionality in the property report, where if you see an owner's name in the report, you can click on it and be taken to a list of other properties associated with that name. We'll go ahead and take a look at an address first, and we'll look at 1725 North Marengo Avenue. Now the website will typically identify your location and default to that area. So I'm looking in Los Angeles, but if you do want to change to another area, you could always just put that new location in this box and do the search, and the site will get you to where you need to be. If you want to change your region ahead of time, there is an option right up here where you can go to our region selector, choose what county you want to look at in what state, and then go from there. So you can do either one of those. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this address, and we'll take a look at the property report. So you'll see at the top of the report there are 3 links. The first is Find Comparables. So the Comparables tool is related to the property report, where if you click on Find Comparables, the site will automatically run a search for sales that have occurred nearby this property in the last few months. Automatically, just by clicking on Find Comparables, this will use this address as your target property. You also have the option to add the property to an existing folder to keep track of for later, or add it to a watch list. And with the watch list, what will happen is you'll get email updates from PropertyShark. We'll let you know if there's a new deed filed on the property, if there's a new mortgage, if a lien is filed, or a new building permit, or if it were for sale and the price changes. You'll get notification about any of those things. Going back to the folders, you're able to create your own folders that will appear on this list in every property report. And if you want to add properties to the folder, you just click on the folder name right there, and now the property is added to that folder. So you can see, you can take a look at all the properties that are in that folder. And if you need to create a new list, or I'm sorry, a new folder, just click on Create New Folder, and then you give it a name. If you want to include a description, you can do that as well, but the name is the only thing you have to include. You click Create, and it appears on the list above, and you can add properties to your folders from any property report you look up. Now, related to those things is the option to add notes. Right here, section A1, right below the overview, if you click on Add Note, you can put a note in the property report. This note is only going to appear to you when you're logged into your account. It doesn't become public. It's not available to everyone, just anyone who's signed into your account. You click Save Note, and it will give you the date that you created the note, and you also then have the option to edit the note or delete the note. And then otherwise it's just going to be there for you. A little bit above that is the property address, and then just below that is our report sections. This is your index for the property report. You can actually use this to navigate through the report without having to scroll down. You can just click on whatever section you want to see and be taken to that information. So here we are at the property tax section, and here we're going through the calculation for the taxes that we receive from the county assessor. And so you'll come here to the bottom and see the current tax bill, and these are links back to the city assessor's office, the treasurer, the taxpayer's guide, so you can see exactly where everything on PropertyShark comes from, because we link you back to our source data. That's one of the things about PropertyShark is, for the most part, the data has to be available electronically for us to use it, so it is actually quite easy for us to link you back to our source so you know exactly where anything you see on the site comes from. We'll go back up to the overview and just browse through the other information you can expect to find in a PropertyShark report. Here we're including the Google photo of the property, and if you'd like, you can use the Google Street View or the Microsoft Bing Bird's Eye View. The Google Street View is built into the site, so you can actually use it directly and look around the property, nearby, up the street, down the street, so on and so forth. It's a great way to get familiar with the area if you haven't been there before. Now, the Microsoft Bing Bird's Eye View, when it's available, is an aerial view taken from a helicopter, in which case you're able to see the lay of the land in a different perspective to see where the property is in relation to other things. and you can also move this around as well to get a better view of the neighborhood. So both of those are going to be available to you for direct use on the site in every property report. Below that is section A3, where we're going to give you the basic information on the property, where you'll get the property address with the zip code, the parcel ID is there, and the lot number. We'll tell you what neighborhood that's considered, as well as links to the city assessor's map and the index map. We'll also tell you the most recent sale. So this property was actually just sold very recently in May of this year, and it was sold for $340,000. The new owner is Julie Wendling, and there's her address at the property address. If you do see that a property is owned by an LLC, there are a couple of ways that you can identify the ownership behind that LLC, and we'll go through some of those a little bit later as well. The next column is going to be information on the property taxes. Again, this is very preliminary, as we do have that whole section devoted to the taxes. Here you'll see the land square footage, the property class, the zoning code, and also building dimensions. So you see the building square footage, the year built, also year last altered, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and units in the building. Here you can see the map, and again we're using the Microsoft Bing bird's eye view for that. So that's layered on there so you can see the lot as well as the photo there. Here's another map you can use, and also all of the maps that are in the property report can be enlarged to view the entire area. So you can click on the map, see the full map, and then click on other properties if you'd like to. And we'll talk a little bit more about the maps in a little bit as well. If a property were for sale, you'd see the listing included in the property report here. And below that is the ownership information, where again you're seeing the name Julie Wendling with the address, and we have that as of 2012, which is interesting. Now, in the case of a property that's owned by an LLC, the first option you have to try to get behind that LLC is the link included here, see who is behind the LLC. This is where you can see where that LLC was registered, who registered that LLC with the county. So you would just enter the LLC's name. Let's just say, for example, ABC LLC. And here's a list of things, of LLCs that have the name in it. And so you can see there the agent for service or process. This is the person who registered the LLC. So you can use that, and then you can also click on the name to get further information about that LLC. This is particularly useful. You can look at the address for who registered it. A lot of times you're not necessarily going to see a person's name, but it can be useful to have perhaps another address that you could then look up and see if there's further ownership information associated with that other address. So that's your first option to get behind the LLC. And then below that you'll have links to the title documents. These are going to be deeds related to the property as well. So you'll see the deed history, and so you see an assignment of leases and rents, trustee sale at one point, and then a new deed. So you're able to see the history here, and then if you can click on the link, you can take a look at the actual copy of the document. Here you'll have the PDF that's available on PropertyShark.com to view for yourself. Here you just want to look for a signature, and there you go. So the mortgage deed is, the mortgage is a great option because you're able to see not just the signature, but the name is actually typewritten out below as well. Whereas if you had to look at the actual deed, the deed would have, in the case of an LLC, the LLC's name would be printed and the signature of the actual person would be there. But with a mortgage, they'll actually include the printed name of the signatory. So it's a little bit more useful function for you. So those are great ways to try to get behind the LLC when you see that a property is owned by a corporation. You'll also be able to see the sale history for the property. You see a sale going back to 2004. This actually looks like it's a typo. Oh no, this is correct, 2004. So maybe I misread that at the top of the property report. My apologies. So we're going to jump around a little bit and show you some other sections of the property report. If you go to our development and use section, Again, here we're going to show you the square footage, the property class, the zoning, and then building information as well. You see the square footage, the property type, year built, number of units, stories, the exterior codes, and again we're looking at the information for the bedrooms and bathrooms is also going to be included. And then below that you have the zoning map, so you can see the different zones, whether it's multifamily, single family, in the zoning district. In this case it's an RS. And if you click on the local zoning site, that's going to give you more information on those zoning codes. Looks like they're having a little trouble with their website, but typically when everything's okay, you'll be able to click on that and see the information you need. There's also going to be a land use map here, so now you're seeing not just the zoning codes, but the actual building classes for the property. So you see what's a single family versus a condo versus a store building or a hotel. And you see these color codes let you know what type of property you're looking at. And again, you can click on any of these maps to enlarge them to see the full area. Here's that property tax section we looked at. If you go down to the hazards and environment section, you're going to be able to see the FEMA flood zone map, as well as the fire map and other geohazards like landslides or liquefaction, earthquakes. So we'll give you any piece of information we can get our hands on related to the property. These are particularly useful when dealing with insurance, knowing if you're in a fire hazard zone or a flood zone, or if you're going to get landslides or earthquakes or anything like that. So that's going to be all included in the property report. It can be a bit depressing, so it is at the bottom. So you look at your discretion. You can also click on neighboring properties. If you'd like, we'll include some of the neighboring properties right here in the report, and you can click on any of the addresses to go right to the report for any of the neighboring properties. Alright, so that's the property report, and as you can see, the best use is to use the report sections, which will move to the top of the report as you scroll through, so it's always going to be there available for you. And if you did want to print out a property report, you are able to then pick and choose which sections of the site you want to include to print. So you don't have to print out the entire property report. You can always pick out the sections that you're interested in. Now you can also, if you're an agent and looking to share a property report with someone else, you are able to include a custom print header, which will have your contact information, your photo, and your company logo if you'd like. We will include your name, email address, and phone number from your account, and if you want to add other details, you're able to do that. To add your photo, you just click here and use a photo saved in your computer, and if you click select template, that's where you're able to include your company logo. You just need a URL or a link to include in the box provided to be able to see that. So you can choose your template from here as well. Once you've got all your templates created, you can pick and choose the ones you want. And then if you are printing out the property report to give someone, it will have your contact information at the top of it. It's just something to be aware of. If you do make notes on a property, that is available to be included in the print. So if you've written something you don't want someone to see, make sure you don't include that. But the opposite is also true. If you want to actually communicate with someone you're giving the report to, the notes are a good way to go about that. So either way, you want to know that the notes are available for print if you're interested. So we'll just choose a few sections, click continue, and you're able to see the scaled down property report. So there's the print header at the top. Your photo, your property information with the taxes, and the neighborhood information. And then you can just print this out. You can also make it into a PDF if you want to email it, and then attach the PDF to your own email, and then the PDF has your contact information. This is important because we do have an email option, which if you use our email option, PropertyShark sends the email for you. So you're essentially asking PropertyShark to send the email in your place to someone else, when I think you're better served making a PDF with your contact information and attaching it to an email that comes from you. But if you did want to use that option, you give us your email and your name and the person to send it to, and we will send them an email from you with the link to the report.